Railroad tracks are a near constant companion as you travel across the deserts of Southern California on old Route 66 and many other highways. A lot of people don't realize, though, that there was a time when the area was bustling with mining activity and that there were even more railroad lines branching off to settlements sprinkled throughout the area. We're out here in the small town of Goffs, and right behind me is old Route 66, and we've come out here with our Lexus GX470, and we're going to be tracing the route of the Nevada Southern Railway. It used to connect with the Santa Fe Railway tracks, which are right next to us here, and it went due north of here about 30 miles up into the New York mountains, where a lot of mining activity took place, and that train line supplied not only people and miners, but also brought gold down from the hills and brought equipment back up in there. So we're going to see just what's left of all those old days of mining up in the New York mountains here in the California desert.
Well, usually for Sport Truck Connection, I spend a lot of my time behind the camera, but Mike and I have decided to come out here to Goffs here in Southern California and do a little backcountry exploring. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this place, so I'm going to get Mike to come on here and we're going to explain it to you guys. This place is really neat, and we're standing in front of a schoolhouse. So Mike, if you got a second, you mind telling us a little bit about why we're here and what this is all about?
Well, back in the day, this area here, Goffs, was a terminal for the transportation of supplies up into the mountains north of here, New York mountains specifically, where a lot of mining activity took place. And right behind us, the tracks for the Santa Fe Railroad connect and go down to Needles, which is about another 30 miles east of here. And Needles at that time was a very important terminal for shipping because they not only had the railroads, but they also at that time had steamships running on the Colorado River, both north and south. So that was a very important shipping point for supplies coming in and for merchandise going out, things like ore and so forth that they were mining out here in the mountains. So we're starting our trip here, and we're going to follow the route of the Nevada Southern Railway up Ivanpah Road here to the north, and we'll follow it up into the mountains and see just what's left of some of the towns and some of the mining activity that used to take place up there, about 100 years or so ago. East of the site of Manville, we followed the old right-of-way for the Barnwell and Searchlight Railroad toward the state line of Nevada for a bit, then retraced our route back to Manville and northward toward Vanderbilt. Although the rails and ties are long gone from these old railroad routes, it was very evident by the cuts through hillsides and built-up roadbed across low spots that we were indeed following the paths of the old trains. Okay, right behind me here, if you look down this way, this is the route that the Nevada Southern Railroad tracks used to take. Went through that cut and around the mountain to the right to get into the town of Vanderbilt, which is where we're headed right now. And that was one of the bigger mining towns of the area, even though it never really made the kind of money they thought it was going to make. It did last for a while, and there's quite a few remains out there that we're going to check out. But in order to get there, we're going to take the road that goes off to the left, and we'll go around the mountain basically. We'll approach Vanderbilt from the other side, the opposite direction from the way the railway went in this way. We'll be there soon. We're standing right now in what was probably downtown Vanderbilt, which our Lexus got us to very nicely, handle all the rocky roads and everything just great, and hopefully it does the same on the way back. But around here we found lots of building foundations and tumbling down walls, lots of mining equipment, mine shafts and so forth, so it's kind of dangerous walking around because you never know when you might fall into eternity. This town actually was financed by the Vanderbilt family of New York here in the New York mountains, but they were from New York City, and they put a lot of money in to help get the mine going, and unfortunately it never really produced what they thought it was going to produce, and it was abandoned I guess probably 10 or 20 years after they started this operation. Quite a bit of it remains today. We're going to take a look around a little bit more, and then we're going to head back out onto the remains of the railroad tracks for the Nevada Southern, and we'll head on up to Ivanpah, where the train tracks come in for the Salt Lake route. So we'll see you there. The Nevada Southern Railway's tracks made it only as far north as Vanderbilt before the company fell into receivership in 1894. In 1901, under the control of the California Eastern Railway, tracks finally made it to Ivanpah to connect with the main line of the Union Pacific's Salt Lake route. Well, we've made it to the crossing at Ivanpah, and right behind me here are the tracks for the Union, or what was the Union Pacific, headed out towards Salt Lake City. And the railroad line that we were following at one time intersected with these tracks here at Ivanpah, and not much here at Ivanpah, actually, a few buildings, although years ago Ivanpah was actually about 7 miles to the north of here. So this is more like Ivanpah South, where the tracks are. Well, that completes our look at the railroad and mining activity of the past in the New York mountains of California. Our Lexus GX470, as usual, showed us that despite the comfort and luxury it pampers its passengers with, it's always ready to tackle the rough stuff with confidence.